Mm.
So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to the final episode of Is It That Bad for this year, people, not for forever, just for this year. And we have a huge one for you. So, we're going to talk about the brand new album by Linkin
Linkin
Park.
Park.
Yes, From Zero, with what looks like some pink semen on the album cover.
It reminds me of Pretty Hate
Is this
Machine.
load?
Oh, Pretty Hate Machine. Yeah.
Yes.
Ah,
The color scheme.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
can see what you say. So this is the brand new album, their first album in 7 years, and the first album to feature Emily Armstrong, previously from a band called Dead Sara, which I think I have checked out at some point. And this is by far one of the most, obviously, when they said that they were coming back, it was everyone there, it was a big news, but it is a very divisive album. So that's why we're going to talk about it. And this is a huge episode. We have 7 people. I think this is the second time we have
it's
7
almost like the
people.
Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, or like it looks like we're on an episode of like there was a show where people were like in boxes, but I can't remember
Oh, like a
now.
news panel.
Oh,
Hollywood
Yeah.
Squares.
Oh.
Hollywood Squares.
Some shit like that. So for this episode, I'm going to introduce the panel. We have Rock of All Ages. We have Justin from Workers. We have Chili from Live Listening Race. JC from JC Rock and Metal Reviews. Matthew from Diceable Reviews. And Robert from Trolling in Paradise. And obviously yours truly, the Shield Dude on a Couch. And yeah, so before we get into the rounds and everything, I was looking online to see like what rating this album had. So it had fairly a lot of like people gave it like positive reviews. So some reviews. Blabbermouth gave it an 8.5 out of 10, but Blabbermouth gives 8.5 out of 10 to everyone. So I don't use them as a credible source. Even though they published one of my interviews there. So Blabbermouth, I love you. Then you have Clash, which I don't know what Clash is, but they give it a 5 out of 10. So Clash, I salute you for speaking the truth. Then you have The Guardian, 4 out of 5. The Independent, 4 out of 5. Kerrang, 4 out of 5. Metal Injections, 8.5 out of 10. And the only one who gave it a 3 out of 5 was NMAE. So the other ones were positive, but I'm guessing like some money was involved through the label because
I don't know. I mean, Linkin Park is still a big band. I mean, stuff like this happens in like video games where like games with big budgets and the really big studios get like 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 reviews.
There's like
This isn't
balls.
like too crazy to me.
At Rachel Music, which is all about public, opinion, it's sitting at 2.82 from 1,400 reviews. Just for reference, that's below The Hunting Party and just a bit above Reanimation, which is interesting, I thought.
And Metacritic says 77 out of 100. So it classifies for Is It That Bad? So so the drill, people. We have 3 rounds. On the first round, we're gonna give our first impressions of when we listen this today, or maybe like Nick listened to it because it leaked, and I'm like, how did you listen to it? And he put out his review. So that, Nick, I see what you did there. You didn't want to be in this panel. I'm kidding, Nick. I love you. But so I'm like, how? And I'm like, oh, it leaked. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait a few days. And I knew today, Friday, there was going to be like 500 fucking reviews out of this album, but I'm gonna tell you something, Couchers. If you want an honest fucking review, I think this is going to be the most honest review on the internet for this album, because Linkin Park hasn't paid me shit. So I can speak my mind. So that's the first round. The second round, we're gonna pick 3 tracks, because since we're a big panel, I think we're gonna leave it to 3 tracks. And on the final round, we'll give it a rating, final thoughts, and thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. So since this is a big panel, we're gonna we're gonna start like we're gonna do Justin, then Rock of All Ages, Chili, JC, Matthew, Robert, and I go last like every time. So Justin, your initial thoughts of this album from
All
Zero.
right. I tried to avoid reviews today too. I caught Nick Nocturnal's review. I already knew he'd kiss their ass. He kisses everybody's ass, but this is totally
I think he gets
untainted,
paid.
completely unsponsored here, unfiltered. I'll admit I was in the camp of like when the rumors started circulating, I wasn't really keen on the idea. I thought the replacement vocalist was an odd choice, but kept an open mind. The singles didn't inspire a whole lot of confidence. I wasn't a giant fan of the first couple of singles. I just feel like kind of fitting that in an hour we're gonna watch a geriatric Mike Tyson get beat up by a 27-year-old YouTuber. So like if
I
anybody
hope
else
Mike
wants,
Tyson beats his ass.
no, he's
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to. So if anybody else feels like digging up a fucking corpse and defiling it today, don't.
Yeah.
All right,
Ew.
Wow.
next.
That's good.
Yeah.
So good. Is that's good first impressions, Justin? I like it because are you finished?
How do you follow that
is there
up?
more? You can go on, man.
No,
I
we got a
think-
big panel. Let's move on.
We
Let's
got a
go.
big
Yeah,
panel.
let's
Let's
move
move on. So, Rock of All Ages, what are your first initial thoughts listening to this?
I already know I'm probably going to be the nicest to this album out of everyone here.
Probably.
I watched a recent interview with Jacoby Shaddix from Papa Roach. They had a big
Oh, no.
They had a big song this year, and they dedicated it to Chester at one performance. And
They
he
had
was
a
asked
song
about.
this year?
Oh yeah. It was called "Leave a Light On."
Isn't that the one with
Oh,
Carrie Underwood?
Yes, yeah, he did a
Oh.
version with
Oh,
her.
God damn it. I missed that song.
What a
Anyway,
shame.
so he was asked about Chester, and he said something like, and I'm going to paraphrase here: "The new singer's killing it, and the new songs fucking rip, but man, a part of me kind of wants to hear Chester sing those songs." And
He's dead, dude.
yeah, I know, but like, you
Thank
know
you,
what he means.
Robert, Captain Obvious.
Yeah. And I think that is probably how most people feel. Like, even the people who do like this album are like, if I had the option to hear Chester hear these sing these, then I would prefer that. Me
Yeah.
personally, I feel about this like movies like The Force Awakens, like their only purpose is to just be nostalgic.
Yeah.
And like
Gotta tick that nostalgia.
I'm okay with that. I think this album could have been better, but I'm okay with that.
Hmm.
God damn it! I was gonna do a theory about Force Awakens, and you you mentioned it, but I'll say it later. So, what about you, Chili?
Speak of the dark side, hey. So anyway, with this one, come join us. It's better over here. Anyway, but we have air conditioning. Anyway, look, talk about the biggest disadvantage for a dick measuring contest when you have a new singer such as, of course, Miss Armstrong there. And I mean that analogy, of course, with merit, because there is the biggest hurdle I always knew I was going to face.
There she is.
Lovely. Yep.
Chili sent this to me today.
Oh my God. No, not the Church of Scientology. That church
South Park
sucks.
approves. Tick. Tom Cruise is knocking at my door, people. He's hiding in my closet, actually. But
Trapped in the closet.
he's trapped in my closet. Get Tom Cruise out of my closet. But anyway, it was like the
That
biggest.
might be a reference to someone who's disgusting, though.
Oh yeah. And look, there's a controversy behind that, which we will talk about a bit later on, I guess. But anyway, in regards to her, I was always thinking the biggest hurdle that would be coming up with Linkin Park was, can I separate this musician to obviously Chester Bennington? And I'm going to stab it at the wind here and say everyone's been a fan since Hybrid Theory, probably on this panel. Would that
I've
be
been a
right?
fan since Minutes to Midnight.
Okay, Minutes to Midnight. But most of us have been fans for a
Hybrid.
long time. And in regards to that, obviously Chester is a big moment of our lives in regards to this music. How do you replace such an iconic singer? It's almost like our Alice in Chains moment with Lane Staley. Can we overcome this? That is the biggest concern, or should we keep it forbidden like Nirvana is? So it's a big question mark at the end of the day, and I always knew that was the biggest hurdle to overcome. But I did manage to separate, I guess, Emily's version to this new Linkin Park version to the old one. And first impressions weren't bad. Like Rock of All Ages said, I knew it was tripping into that nostalgia factor, and I didn't mind it. They were always
hold
gonna
on a
be into
second.
that.
I'll be right back.
Okay, then. But
Okay,
yeah, look,
Robert.
it goes back into that nostalgia factor, and I don't really mind that at all. So that was my first impressions. Not bad when I first heard it.
Okay. So, JC, your first impressions?
Yeah, I thought the first single, "Emptiness Machine," was pretty good. I actually liked it a lot. Yeah, I was into this band since Hybrid Theory, and pretty much like the first three albums. Then like, I kind of like didn't pay much attention until like the Hunting Party. I listened to that one and No More Light. I kind of got back into them, but I liked the first single. Then the second single, which was "Heavy Is the Crown," and I'm thinking, oh yeah, kind of people saying it sounds similar to "Faint." And then the next one was that ballad, which I'll probably talk about later. And
Over
then,
each other, yeah.
yeah, then the song "Two Faced," that was the single that just came out like right before the album came
Like
out
a week
and,
ago.
Yeah, and that one just the song "Two Faced," and that one reminded me a lot of some. I was thinking something from Hybrid Theory. Everyone's
One
saying
step
like
closer.
it's one step closer. Yeah, so I'm thinking like now I listened to the entire album and I'm thinking like every song is taking like some influence from one of their different periods, whether it's some of the popular stuff is like more like from the One More Light period. Some of the more like experimental stuff might be from like A Thousand Suns period, and then some of the more then there's like a lot of songs that sound like either Hybrid Theory or Meteor, like they can be on those. So I think they're kind of taking from like all these different periods, with one exception. There was one song which I thought was kind of like different than something they've never done. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'll talk about that in the end. But it's so it's kind of like there's some stuff I like here, and there's some stuff. It's in general, it was probably better than I was expecting. So I'll just keep it at that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, Matthew, I saw your review, so I know most of your thoughts, but your initial thoughts.
Initial thoughts of I guess the whole rollout from when they announced to here, because I did a small reaction to the Empty Machine. Very, very confused by that when I first listened to it, and then when I'm here getting to this point, re-listening to it again, that might be one of my more favorable tracks about the album. But overall, it just felt very empty to me as I just listened to it, and just I don't want to say bland, but just something. And the funny thing is, it's not even from the new singer. Like the band itself just feels so blasé and just so we're just here, we're doing it kind of. Like there's some parts with some riffs that sound kind of good. And actually, at times, I think Emily sounded better than Mike, especially when she does her unclean. That I can
feel the
see.
exact same way.
What was that?
I feel the exact same way.
Yeah, I was like, and kind of like they're like, this shoe's the perfect pick for this, and listen to the full album, you're like, yeah, I see it, I get it. I get there is that veracity that she kind of has, not to say is Chester, but kind of matches with Chester, especially with her husky, unclean vocals. Cleans, not so much, but then mostly it was just like the drums, what I say, really bland and either mixed too like loud. The riffs were kind of absent and just kind of not the best there. And then Mike himself, half of his vocals were just not the greatest. So I was really surprised that most of what I didn't like about the album wasn't even the new member. It was just mostly like those, not the newest member because there's two new members, but like the main issue people would talk about. But it was just like other things about the band. I was just like,
I think the drummer is new.
Yeah, the drummer's been replaced now.
Colin Brittain, Rob Bourdon is out of there now.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's because because he didn't want to be in there anymore because of Chester. Yeah.
I think Colin Brittain came from Papa Roach, incidentally.
No, he didn't.
I'm pretty sure he like produced for them.
He came from his
songwriter.
Okay, he's a songwriter. So good thoughts, Matthew. So Robert, what are your initial thoughts on this one?
Well, I listened to it as soon as it became available on YouTube. I listened to part of it last night, but I noticed some of the songs were scattered all over the menu. And then I listened to it again today, and some of it, I mean, From Zero, which is like an introduction, and I heard from the Emptiness Machine when it came out in September, and then I saw Fantano's weekly track roundup thing that he does, and he absolutely despised Emptiness Machine. He put in the worst tracks of the week thing for September 9th, and he also he enjoyed Heavy's the Crown, but he didn't like Over Each Other. Personally, I did not like Heavy's the Crown. It sounded like sounds like the worst version of Hollywood Undead because of the vocals and the rap parts. And especially if you listen to like something off like American Tragedy from Hollywood Undead, one of those tracks you would hear off American Tragedy, and one of the more serious ones like Glory, that sort of thing. And of course, Casualty, the nastiest on there is where she's screaming like she's in some sort of padded cell, and it sounds like she's banging on a wall or like on a
Maybe she's
freaking
at the
door.
Church of Scientology.
I'm
Trying to get
talking
out.
about a freaking, that one of the rubber room in like a mental hospital or like a prison cell. So I compare it to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
And
good. Oh, you're not done. Okay.
and also it's unfortunate. I did not like One More Light, the last record at all, and it
I don't
sucks.
think no one did.
And it sucks that it was the last one with Chester, man. Chester was one of the greatest vocalists out there. I actually caught them live in 2012 on the Living Things tour. And so at least I got to see him back when Chester was alive. And now he's gone, which really sucks. It still hurts to this day, man. The news of Chester's death still hurts to this day, man.
Yeah. So good initial thoughts. So I'm gonna say something that no one has said, but maybe Justin will agree with me. When I first started listening to this album, I thought the guitar sounds weak and bland. And I started listening to Hybrid Theory and Meteora, and like the guitar sounds so thick and loud, and here the guitars just sound like a whipper. So I was like, I was thinking, I'm gonna ask Justin since he's a guitar player, because the tone of the guitar is so weak that to me that put me off. And people are like saying like, oh, this is so heavy. I'm like, what the fuck are you listening to? like heavy? The guitar is so bland. And I agree with Matthew. The drumming sounds sometimes too loud in some parts. And Emily, I think she's not a bad singer, but I saw the music video for Two-Face, and I don't know why. I think she's lame. She's like doing some things, and she just looks like a lame person.
She's trying too hard, I think, maybe.
I mean,
yeah, she's trying too fucking hard.
I mean, Chester was also at points kind of like a goofy person.
But he was cool. When he did the stuff, he didn't look like he was trying. And another thing with this album is like the intro is one of the weakest intros ever.
Weird intro.
Hold on.
Like, what the fuck is that? She's like, yeah, from Zero. And Mike Shinoda's like, totally, bitch. And then you have
so they're explaining the album title, and she's like, oh, wait, Xero was your first band. That was like the name of the band before Chester joined.
And he's like, that's right, bitch. I gave you the job.
Blend it into the first song. It does not need its own thing. It would have.
I sincerely hated all the fucking between song banter. It was after after the Over Each Other, before they go into whatever the fucking cheesy hardcore
pants.
Yeah, put on your screaming pants. Like, it was just so funny. It felt so contrived and fucking stupid. It's like, I wonder how many takes they did of that off the cuff joke before they landed on one to put on the album. But yeah, I just like wanted to fucking die of embarrassment listening to that shit. It was fucking stupid. To speak to the guitar tone.
The guitar
tone. Well, no,
yes,
I agree
please.
with you. What I think this album suffered from, I think a lot of bands suffer from, and it's modern production. When you listen to like Hybrid Theory, you listen to Meteora, like Hybrid Theory was recorded on relatively shoestring budget. And there's some grit in the guitar. There's some dirt in the signal chain. It was probably a fucking SM57 thrown in front of whatever shitty guitar cabinet they owned at the time, and it sounds raw. And I think with this, you're listening to a bunch of people who now think they're artists and think they're fucking special, and probably went into a fucking $10 million studio, and it's probably a guitar sim, and everything just sounds so clean and sterile. It sounds the same as every other fucking bullshit pop rock fucking Imagine Dragons fucking production. It has no life. Like they suck the soul out of the band. So I mean, I'm probably giving away some of my talking points for later. But yeah, I fully agree with you. The guitars had no balls whatsoever.
Okay, I'm not crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the guitar tone, when I was listening to it, like this is so weak, and people online saying so. I'm like, are these people deaf? Like, what the fuck are they hearing? Like,
yes, they are.
So what I did to prepare for this, I listened to the old stuff, and I listened to this, and like even the best song on this record, it doesn't hold a candle to a Chester Bennington era like good one. I'm not talking about One More Light because that album simply, two classic records. That album is simply shit. So yeah, those are my first impressions. And yeah, that album intro is like, I think that's the worst intro to an album ever. It's like so anticlimactic. You're like, and then the Emptiness Machine starts, which is an type of song. So I don't know. It starts on a whimper, in my opinion. So
I did notice that the album also ends with those same like angel vocals, kind of a bookend thing.
It's so that it loops back into itself, and a lot of bands will do that where they'll record the outro to match back up to the intro. It's not very clever. It's been done a million times, but
it's been done a million fucking times and better. So let's go to round two. Justin, take it away.
All right. So you initially asked me to pick 4 songs, and I told you I was only doing 3. My 4th song out of protest was going to be the intro. But all right. So the songs I picked, this was like selecting the most appetizing dog turd from the yard. Like there was not a whole lot to work with here. I'm going to be straight up. So Heavy as the Crown.
Turd.
Yeah, that white dog turd. Get it in your belly.
Yeah. So, Step Brothers.
Heavy as the Crown at least kind of sound like Linkin Park for about 30 seconds before it went off the rails. But exact same vocal patterns and melody from Mike Shinoda. I think that dude has like literally like he could just plug in words. You could just program it in advance and like he just changes the lyrics. It's just all the same shit. Emily doing her best Chester impression. It's not bad. It's not great. She yells, "This is what you asked for," and I'm just thinking, "Nah, lady, like nobody asked for this shit."
No one, no.
But second song, I would say easily best song on the album, undeniably. I think most people will probably agree. But Two-Faced, it was the last single, gave me a little bit of hope going into this. But more of that same old, nah, from fucking Mike Shinoda, same shit. Memorable chorus, good on her for the chorus. Musically, I mean, it literally sounds like you had AI write a fucking song after you fed it Hybrid Theory. Unapologetic, rehashed rendition of One Step Closer. Timing, delivery. Timing, delivery feel pretty much identical. Nothing original happening here. Totally playing the nostalgia card, but I think that was like really the only card in the deck here. If you replace "I'm About to Break" with "I Can't Hear Myself Think," you've got it. Same shit. So the one track that might surprise people, I really liked the song "Over Each Other," and this is exactly what I expect Spirit Box to sound like in 3 years, by the way. But this was a song like written. Yeah, it was like written to showcase Emily, and I'm totally cool with that. It's clear she can sing, great voice. Again, maybe a weird fit, but that's not a dig on her. It's a choice they made. Now their fans, they have to live with it. But this would be an amazing song if it had come from any of the other like corporate radio, like girl power bands, like fucking Pretty Reckless or Hailstorm or like any of that shit. Maybe
Or
not.
I don't
Paramore.
remember either of them making a song like that.
Essence, probably.
I don't listen to that crap, man. Cut me a break. But yeah, I picked two bands with female vocalists, but yeah, good melody, good lyrics, good vocals. And the thing about the song I liked was it was believable. Like this actually felt authentic. So you know, if you're gonna be a new band, like be a new band, take some chances, do something new. And sadly, this was like one of the only times that I felt like they really deviated from like the existing formula on the album. But I'm glad they did. I did enjoy it. So maybe not a great Linkin Park song, but I do think it was like one of the better songs on the album. And if I was to add it to a playlist and it came up, no one would know you were listening to Linkin Park. They would just think you were
because it
listening to some
doesn't
girl
sound
rock
like that.
band from the radio. Yeah, but good song. So
Like a
those
Spirit
were
Box
my
outtake.
three. I think it's like it's a mid-tier song from a god-tier band on a shit-tier album. That's what it is.
Oh.
Nice. So, Rock of Ages, what songs did you pick?
Forgive me, I'm kind of hung up on the comparisons to the other bands that he just made.
You'll get over it, man. I promise.
We'll see how long that takes. Let's see.
By the end of the show.
Yeah, 3 least favorite songs. Third least favorite, I had Cut the Bridge, which the drums kind of remind me of Bleed It Out, but not as good. Second least favorite was the closing track, Good Things Go. Hector, I remember in the Living Things episode, you kind of predicted this album would sound like Living Things. This song would have fit snugly on Living Things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then least favorite song, also would have fit on Living Things was Stained, which this and Good Things Go are like the most pop-leaning songs on the whole album, which Linkin Park have made some decent pop-leaning songs like Shadow of the Day, but this was not it.
But Chester carried that song with his vocals. When
Oh, absolutely. That song is phenomenal.
I was just
don't see
bummed
anyone
that
doing
that song is not about Aaron Lewis.
I had thought, actually.
You ruined my fucking joke on that one.
I think he was on a song on Reanimated.
Oh yeah.
Was he?
So yeah. So what about you, Chili? I stole your joke.
I'm still going to say the joke anyway, so screw you.
Say your joke, man.
Well, I got nothing else. It's all just written down. So Over Each Other, I really didn't like this track, I've never been a fan of like these big so-called ballads, and I guess you can kind of call Over Each Other the ballad, I guess, of the album. But especially when it comes to Linkin Park, I've not exactly been a huge fan, except for that one track we just talked about a couple of seconds ago. But this song just feels like it's some kind of generic pop tune with some kind of love lost type of lyrics over the top. And I guess, in fact, if you had never heard this song before, just read the lyrics blindly, then you could probably assume this is a Taylor Swift song. That's the level of disconnect I feel for this tune. And I'm surprised no one's mentioned this one, but at the end of it as well, like, you got it. It sounds like it's a bread delivery at 4 a.m, because that's how baked they sounded. It's just so terrible. I fucking hate that. And hey, get your scream pants on. Yeah, this song's studio banter just is so fucking stupid. I expect this on a Van Halen record maybe, but not this Linkin Park album at all. So I really hate it.
What happened with what happened with Van Halen?
Van Halen, they had some banter and some song. I forgot which album it was, but anyway, it's like
Unchained?
it's just
that's the only song.
Yeah. It was Unchained. It was Unchained. That's it. Yeah.
But that song
break coming up.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, behave. Anyway, but yeah, like, I don't expect this for a Linkin Park thing, and I just think it's unbecoming of Linkin Park to do this, and it just sounds very forced. Which is just a huge problem. As well as that, I guess there was overflow. Despite the album's highs and lows so far throughout the runtime, I thought the album had actually sounded pretty good considering what the tracks had gone through. And then this obtuse song just played over my headphones, and it was forcing me to wonder if I had skipped the entire album by chance and just ended up in a random shuffle playlist. Because this is such a weird song, just out of the blue, and especially considering that it comes off the back of Casualty, this weird punk heavy kind of tune. You got Casualty, this weird screaming part, and then we go into overflow, and you're like, what the where's the 6 degrees of separation? What's going on here? And it just this song just plain sucks to me. And it's like it was meant to be another Mr. Hahn instrumental section, except they had to extend it and add vocal sections for Emily. Oh, we have Emily, that's right. Hey, come sing, come sing. You know, that's just the thing about it. Look, nothing wrong with Emily. We'll get to that, of course, in the next section. But hey, the last track, Stained. Hey, it's Aaron Lewis. And the joke was ruined. But anyway, joking, of course, at this stage. But they may as well have used him as a songwriter on this album. At least he would have guided them down the traditional metal path instead of whatever the hell this is. Now, I feel that it's really important to note to the listeners out there who are unaware, but out of the 10 tracks, and I'm excluding that intro piece, for fuck's sake, that thing sucks, the 7 tracks have additional writers to Linkin Park, and none of them, except for one, is the same person from each track to the other. So there are a lot of additional writers for an album that should just be a Linkin Park record. And I thought that just really dilutes the whole process, and it just makes this very weird sounding record. Hector, I think you mentioned as well at the beginning, there are sections where it sounded like Hybrid Theory, then there are parts which sounded like 1,000 Suns, and then there are songs which just sound like shit, which I'm assuming must be off that last album. So, at the end of the day, it's like they were trying to claw at every single piece of the albums that they had done so in the past, trying to satisfy and satiate all their fans, and just landing in the middle of the road with this record. And, it's a bit of a weird one. But those 3 tracks, they're the ones I fucking hate the most.
Nice. What about you, JC?
All right, my first one is going to be Cut the Bridge, because it comes right off of Emptiness Machine. It's like, I guess, the 3rd track if you count the intro in. It was very repetitive. I thought it was like the lyrics were very simple. The chorus, you kept like repeating like whatever the line, cut the bridge, and then there was just even that drum beat, it just sounded like some kind of electronic, like programmed drum beat. It was just a very kind of simple, repetitive type of song, and just kind of like trying to maybe sound like classic Linkin Park. My next one is going to be Overflow, which Chili was talking about, and it's kind of funny in my notes. I put this exact line, like it's a weird song. Like I use that exact words because that's what it is. It's like modern hip hop, maybe something similar to like One More Light, but it just
it
really
kind of felt like trip hop, like Massive Attack.
Yeah,
which Mr. Hahn was known for.
It sounded a bit like Hollywood Undead.
Oh God!
Yeah, I think it was just like
no, it doesn't.
Kind of different.
It sounds like Hollywood Undead.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like Massive Attack.
Robert, did you listen to this album?
I was listening to some of the songs of it, and I know some of them sound the same.
Oh,
yeah. But anyway, my 3rd pick is going to be the final track, "Good Things Go." Another one, it's just a simple pop song. It's kind of emotional. I think they wanted to maybe
all
like
those heartstrings.
Go for like a heartfelt song at the end, but it just, I don't know, it's just kind of like boring. It just kind of like didn't really like do much for me. But that's all I'll say for now. Those are my 3 picks. Yeah.
Hector, did I fuck this up, man? Was I supposed to do 3 songs I hated?
Yeah.
I thought it used to be 3. I thought it was supposed to be the 3 songs we like. I could have shit all over these other songs. Goddamn.
Yeah, I was confused because you were praising over each other, and I was like, "Are we changing this?"
Dude, I haven't done one of these episodes in a while. I'm a fucking idiot. All right.
Yeah, I was confused. I'm like, do you hate them? Do you like them?
Both.
That's okay.
He's confusing. He's confusing the.
On the last round, you'll say about everything you hate.
He's like Overflow just after the track, just we.
That's kind of the story of this album. If we're being honest, it's just a confusing love-hate pile of shit. All right, next.
Yeah,
sorry.
No worries, man. What about you, Matthew?
I would say the first song I did not, worst song on the album. I'm just going down in order. Cut the Bridge. I initially thought, I was like, is this some kind of local band? Like the way it sounded, the repetitiveness that JC was talking about. It's probably the most jarring song on the album. Like I said, it just feels like some it just feels like local band energy the whole time. I'm like, this is Linkin Park. Ooh, yeah. And just lackluster in all the it's just bad in all the wrong ways. I hate saying bad because I try my best to always find the positive thing. And I said the only positive thing I
Oh,
can find
fuck
about it
that.
was that it was kind of short. So good for that. But yeah, cut the bridge. No. Next, I won't say really hit, but I was up there. Casualty felt really try
What?
hard, very cringy, and just really janky. It didn't feel very cohesive. And the heaviness, I didn't like the heaviness from them. And I love heavy music, like I love like hardcore music, and it felt like they were trying to be a hardcore band or a punk band. It just felt wrong.
Yeah.
It just
And I
didn't
have
feel
a
right.
question for everyone. On Casualty, there's a part in the lyric that she says, I know your secret. I'm like, are you talking about Danny Masterson? Like, I
Shots
know your
fired.
secret.
We know your
I
secret,
think
Emily.
I'm pretty sure
Bitch,
Mike
you said
Shinoda
that you
does.
just went to the to because like so you remember when she put out that press release? She's
Yeah.
like, no, like I was told, like, oh, we have to help a friend, and what did he do? Oh, some bad shit. But I was there. I'm like, come on, that was like the most lamest like excuse ever. Like
I think Mike Shinoda writes the songs and then shows them to the rest of the band.
Mm.
and she's like, yes, it's
Okay.
she's like, it's about
And she's like,
Danny.
"Oh, this reminds me of this thing."
Yes. I
Oh,
was
my
just
friend was a
listening to
casualty.
that, and I thought of Danny Masterson.
And
He
her
was part of
friend
the
was
cancel
sentenced to
culture.
30 years to life in prison. What the fuck? Somebody get the wood chipper.
He's my friend, but he's a casualty of the woke culture. Oh, fuck off.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
So go on, Matthew. I think you have one more
Yeah.
track, right?
Yeah, last one real quick. Just Overflow because how Casualty and
Yes.
Overflow flow into each other. And I just don't it just felt really a lot of things on this album. Empty, bland, just kind of boring. And I vaguely remember things about that song, but it just came and went for me. Yeah. But it's
Just
funny, like a lot of it,
overflowed you with joy.
oh, so much joy. But yeah, those are my three.
Good one. So Robert, pick three
All
songs
right.
that you didn't like.
All right. First is Heavy as the Crown. That was the second single. And this one legit starts out similar to Faint. And then you got this rapping from Mike Shinoda, who only has one flow, by the way, when he's rapping. And
That's true.
it sounds like he's using something similar to Hollywood Undead. It sounds like Funny Man or J Dog, one of the two guys.
Hang up on this Hollywood
And then
Undead
you got
thing.
You're obsessed with Hollywood
and
Undead.
then Emily comes in sounding like Daniel Marullo on the chorus, yeah. And then
Daniel LaRusso?
Daniel Marullo, that Danny,
Oh, I
you know,
thought you.
Hollywood.
I
That's the
thought
guy
you
with
said
the
the Karate
gold
Kid.
mask on his face.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Oh.
That's and then my second pick is obviously going to be Casualty, and obviously that's where she's obviously her most brutal sounding moment yet because she's screaming her guts out on that one.
Mm.
And then you got and then of course you Chili, you were mentioning that one based on the whole Masterson thing. Yeah, well, screw that guy. And
Yeah.
obviously and my last pick is going to be Stained, which is it track 9 on the album? I think it is, sir.
Something like that.
mm.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
that one sounded similar to one of the like an early song from Linkin Park, like "Lying from You" off Meteora, that sort of deal. But then, but obviously, personally, yeah, those are the three I didn't like at all. Heavy as the Crown being one of them because that was so absolutely atrocious. One of the worst songs I've heard all year too.
Mm.
Plus, the music video kind of sucks. So,
Playing Sarah Lewis.
yeah.
Over each other sucks. It looks like something you'd see on one of those Mothers Against Drunk Driving things.
To me,
I'm
Because,
it's
gonna
like,
watch it.
yeah. Actually, I'm gonna pick songs. Actually, over each other. I, I'm not a huge fan, but I think if this wasn't on a Linkin Park record, this could be like a Miley Cyrus song or like a Taylor Swift song, and I would be
Or an
okay with
Evanescence
it.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You said
okay.
3 songs, right? Yeah. Okay.
3.
Okay. I'm just making sure that you did all your 3 songs. The songs that I pick, from the singles, I picked Two Face because it just sounded like a ripoff of like One Step Closer, but not a good one. And
Mm.
this is my theory with this. They went from the nostalgia, and this is like when I remember like 10 years ago when Star Wars The Force Awakens was going to open. I was actually fucking excited because I was a fan, and I remember being in the movie theater and then like I'm like looking at the movie and they're like, there's there's the Millennium Falcon. There's Han
General
Solo
Leia. There's Han
and
Solo.
Chewbacca. And then like
What are they doing
I'm
to Indiana
actually sitting,
Jones?
yeah, I'm actually sitting in the movie theater. I'm like, I've seen this before. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is a New Hope 2.0. And
Yes.
this is exactly what Linkin Park blatantly is doing with this song. So this is what I tell you, Linkin Park, fuck you. Like, you are not bringing me in with the nostalgia. I know where you're trying to do, Mike Shinoda. You're trying to get us all nostalgic. But Emily Armstrong, she's not a horrible singer, but she's not fucking Chester Bennington. Like
course
I don't
not.
think even she would say she's Chester Bennington.
girl, she's trying hard to imitate him in some of these songs. Like
Was Kathleen Kennedy the
said,
producer of this album?
they said on the Saint Lone interview, they're like, no, she never tried to imitate Chester. I'm like, bullshit. Like she's trying to imitate him in the songs that sound more like Hybrid Theory or Meteora. So I think that song and the music video, I saw the music video and it's so lame. And I'm like, are they trying to be lame on purpose? Because that's like it's a lame, and she's like dancing all crappy like, and I blame Scientology. So Two Face is one. My second one is Overflow, and I gotta say, Mike Shinoda's vocals are atrocious on this record, and it seems like there's no evolution to his rapping. He's doing the same style of rap that he's done all the time. He's like the same things, and you're like, come on, dude, like how old are you? Like, like
50?
it's yeah, the rapping is like he's doing like the same thing. I think the Metal Meltdown, because I saw his review, he did a rapping of what he does, and he did it spot on. So yeah, his rapping is just
Oh my God.
it's just very bad, and the way like that because I was some reviews were saying like he's such a great lyric writer, and I think Sheely mentioned that there's a lot of ghost writers on this one. If you need so many so people writing songs, that means that the best part of this band is no longer like Chester Bennington wrote songs that felt from the heart. This album is soulless. There's no soul in these songs. And Overflow just sounds like a bad karaoke AI shit. And the last one I picked is Casualty, because a lot of people are like, this is the heaviest track that they've done. It also sucks, people. It's trying to be heavy in a very cringy way. And I'm sorry. I think Hybrid Theory has some heavier tracks that sound true. This sounds like you're trying to like try so hard. And plus, I'm sorry, every time I listen to this song now, I picture Danny Masterson. So this is, I would call it the Danny Masterson song. So those are my 3 picks. So now we're going to the third and final round where we give our final thoughts and we vote. So Justin, we vote, thumbs up if we like it, thumbs sideways if it's okay.
Yeah, I got that part. Thanks.
He's giving it a thumbs up, everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
And say,
terrible album, thumbs up. The funny thing about this album to me, like the final words on the album, the very last line on the album was, sometimes bad things take the place when good things go. And I couldn't have fucking said it better myself, guys. You fucking nailed it right on the head. It was like a prophecy. But I don't know if they're gonna do another album after this one. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I'll give that one a chance too. Like I'm not gonna write them off forever. I do think it's interesting. We've seen this with other bands in the past, but when you have a really influential band that takes a hiatus, and by the time they come back, there's been a lot of bands that have filled the void that they left behind, and a lot of times those bands will take elements of what they do and they'll do it better than the original band. This happens in metal all the fucking time. Like Violence comes back after a 20-something year layoff, and there's like 97,000 bands that did it better than them. They write a new album and it falls on its face. It's kind of hard to outdo all the clones that did you better than you. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here. I think it's interesting that they're taking on this upcoming world tour, they're taking out Architects and Architects and Spirit Box. And to me,
and also JPEG Mafia.
Oh, sure, JPEG Mafia is awesome live.
But like to me, I just think like Architects, like especially if you listen to the song Animals, they took the Linkin Park sound, modernized it, made it better, made it heavier, and it's authentic.
They did.
So it's like I don't have any need for new Linkin Park when I have Architects. And same shit goes for Spirit Box. Like before I would ever in a million years listen to this vapid album again, I would just go listen to fucking Spirit Box. So it's
and she's a better vocalist.
Yeah, it's a challenging thing they faced. They faced it head on. I don't know. Overall, given the history, given the name on the album, given the expectations coming into it, given the absurd amount of corporate press and ass kissing surrounding this album, I don't buy into it. You've got to fucking show up. You've got to deliver. I don't think they delivered. This pains me. I'm a huge, huge Linkin Park fan. Always was. This ain't it, guys. For the first time ever, I think on this show, thumbs down.
Oh, finally. Welcome to the dark side, Justin. Sometimes I save albums. Yeah, it's not all. I saved the Offspring one. I liked a few songs. Rocket for Ages, your final thoughts on this one and your vote.
So by the way, I have seen Architects and Spirit Box, both pretty good live.
I saw Spirit Box open for Lamb of God a couple of years ago.
Oh, Lamb of God was also pretty good. I have no intention of seeing the Linkin Park tour because I would need to sell a lot of shit to afford a ticket.
A kidney.
Probably a kidney, yeah.
I can't sell my other one. I need that. I
gave the other one away to go to Oasis.
I wouldn't pay $10 to watch Linkin Park right now, if I'm being honest. So your vote.
So perhaps controversially, I did like the singles. I liked a lot of the beats. And I think Emily did a pretty good job, all things considered. Ironically, I think the weakest part of the album, in my opinion, is Mike Shinoda. Like his rapping is pretty weak compared to what he used to do with Linkin Park. And it's weird to say because this is his band. Like, what the hell are you doing, Mike?
He's keeping it real.
Sometimes he's okay. But like other times it brings down songs I would otherwise love. Like I know you guys picked Overflow and Casualty. I do actually kind of like those songs, or like most of the aspects of those songs. So before this we did the Living Things review. I think I would listen to this over Living Things. Like I would go back to this before I would go back to Living Things. Just barely, this album gets a thumbs up for me. Controversial, because I know I'm going to be the only one who's nice to this album in this entire call. But, I think, I will admit, this album could have been a lot better. I will give it that.
Okay. So we have a thumbs down, a thumbs up. Chili?
You know what? Before we joined this episode, I was on a Facebook group and I was checking out this post, and it was like new Linkin Park versus old Linkin Park, react and see what the gauge is like. And I thought for sure old Linkin Park was going to lead by 99% freaking maelstrom. I'm looking at the reacts. No, it was actually more like 60-40. Oh, it was very close. It was very weird. And I'm looking at it just like, look, Emily's not the problem with this lineup. You know, at the end of the day, Emily does bring a lot to the band, and I think, you know, you're never gonna fill Chester's shoes. You never were, but she is fresh blood, and she brings that youth, and I think she brings a bit of passion to the band that they were really lacking a few years ago when they released that last album. So, you know, like I mean, going back, I guess, to also Linkin Park, this you know, the first two or three albums were simply phenomenal, and you were never going to reach the highs of that. But all things said, I actually don't mind this album in a fair few sections, and I know a lot of people have said their thoughts on it in regards to tracks they hated. I liked Casualty, for example. The Emptiness Machine, I thought was a really good track. I came around to that. I initially thought that was a horrible single, but after listening to it a couple more times, you know, I came around to that song eventually. And there is still a lot of love for the band. Another one as well, I think it was I Give You Everything I Had, or whatever it was, that second last track of that album. You know, there's some really good stuff. But the thing is, and this is the hardest part about it, is it could go either way of all these three ratings. I could hate this album in certain sections, talking about the tracks that we've talked about, the issues with production. You know, I kind of had to wonder if the Church of Scientology even had some influence on this. Yeah. I mean, hell, Cedric from bloody Mars Volta left them a couple of years ago, so they needed a new one. They needed a new band out there, didn't they?
I think he left specifically because of the Danny Masterson stuff.
I think he left because of his wife. I might be.
Yeah,
maybe he left because the Church of Scientology is nuts.
I think that too. You know, I kind of draw the line at assassins that you're allowed to use within the church. But anyway, you know, all one of the things I missed when I did my review, I was going to do the review of Linkin Park initially, and every so often flag up, like in the South Park episode, this is what they believe. and and just like talk shit about the album at certain points. But ultimately, I enjoyed this album. I think this is actually their third best album, and I don't mean that unironically. Thumbs up. I really do think it's a good album. So yeah,
I thought you were gonna go like sideways. So we have.
I thought it was too. Yeah.
I just realized the comment section of this video is going to be a minefield.
Yeah,
good probably will.
So we have one thumb down, two thumbs up. JC.
Okay, I think it's the type of album that you can just kind of listen to it front to back. It's 30 minutes long, so it's short album. The songs are like 2 or 3 minutes each. I think it's, you know, a lot of it brings back memories from, you know, the first couple albums. So I like that Star Wars comparison with the Force Awakens. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but you know, I can still watch the Force Awakens. It's kind of like, you know, it's nostalgic for me. I think the songs are decent. I mean, I don't think there's anything like I really like hated. I mean, some of it was kind of weird, but there were some songs I liked. Actually, I liked the song Casualty because I know it's kind of different, but it sounded a lot like the band Helmet. I don't know if anyone noticed that.
Oh, yeah, good band.
Yeah, it sounded like a lot like Mike Shinoda was doing this like hardcore vocals, and he sounds like a lot like Page Hamilton from Helmet. So I kind of like that because I'm a Helmet fan, and it kind of has like a hardcore sound. So I kind of like that song, and I think it might the album kind of drags a little towards the end, like the last 3 songs, Stained and I Give You All I Have, Good Things. Then they might drag a little, but I think there's like enough here for me not to hate it. So I'm gonna go another thumbs up, and it's gonna be like one of those like one of those like barely thumbs up, but I think it's good enough. I'm planning to do a ranking video. I'm not going to review this because like every single channel on YouTube has already reviewed this stuff. I'm not going to waste my time on that, but I'll probably rank it, and I see it falling somewhere like somewhere in the middle, but I have to figure it out. But I think it's okay. It's good. Like it's good enough to listen to. Yeah.
Okay. So 3 thumbs up, 1 thumb down. Matthew.
Oh wow, this is fun. This is some good takes. A lot of good stuff here. Yeah, one thing that what Justin said about how like what blew my mind down was recently, like how a band can start something and then other bands can come out and just do it even better, that just like solidified more how I felt about this particular album and just Linkin Park as a whole. Like in some bands, I've been thinking like, oh yeah, just because you started doesn't mean you're the best at it. And I also feel like uh, I guess my thoughts are a little bit weird because I feel bad. It's like much of the later albums, I only know a couple songs, so I can't compare too much of like their older material. I've just heard a word of mouth from other people. Hopefully I'll be able to listen to them, give my own proper thoughts on it. But from the first couple albums I know up until like Minute to Midnight, um, from from those albums and this, it just feels so I don't want to say soulless. That just sounds mean, but it just feels like it's
I
lacking.
said it.
He did.
I'm next to it. When you said it, I'm like, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's just lacking so much that, and it's not like I said, not even from Emily herself. Her energy, not too bad. She's doing better than Mike half the time, I feel like, with the vocals. But the band itself just feels so going through the motions and just like, yeah, let's just do it. Or like they haven't made music in a while, and it's just it's weird. Yeah, I guess it's weird. I feel like they should have more energy because they haven't made music in a while, but it feels like the opposite where, oh, we've made a bunch of albums. Oh, let's make another one, I guess. And like I said, I think those moments of there's just too much emptiness throughout a lot of the songs, and they like added more, I don't know, like more guitar riffs, some more production from Mr. Hahn and stuff. I just felt there was a lot of wasted potential here. Like
Yeah.
there it could have been so much more.
Did you
And
say
less
there was a
shouty
lot of
pants.
emptiness in the songs?
It felt like, yeah, like there's just a lot of like quiet parts that just felt like they could have done something more. Yeah,
Let me get my shouty pants out.
I agree, man.
I'll just have to give it a thumbs down. I can live with that.
Bravo.
Ooh,
I salute you, Matthew.
fuck! I can tell where this is going.
So we have
Hey, it can go anyway. It can go anyway, baby.
3 thumbs down and
Two.
Hey, you haven't voted
two,
yet,
two
man.
thumbs down.
No,
and
it's
three
a
thumbs
thumbs
three
down.
down.
and
2 to
so
3 right now.
Robert, your final thoughts and your vote.
Well, unfortunately, hearing this one after so long, I was like, oh my God. I was like, first off, yeah, this is probably one of the most lifeless cash grab albums I've heard all year. But especially Chester gone. Chester was the backbone of the band for the first 7 records, and to lose him really ruined everything, and that put the band in limbo for so long. And then I heard Emptiness Machine, which I thought was alright. Then I heard Heaviest of Crown, which was terrible. And I listened to Over Each Other, which was also bad. And I listened to the rest of it, and I was like, oh my God, the vocals. Emily has an irritating voice. Her voice is nails on a chalkboard. And obviously, I'm going to give it a massive thumbs down.
So, oh boy, we have
The tiebreaker, everyone.
We're on the
Oh my
tiebreaker.
God.
The tiebreaker.
Yeah,
I'm going to take a bet on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. When I said I wasn't going to hold punches with this, I didn't grow up with Linkin Park because when Linkin Park put out Hybrid Theory, I was already past college, but I remember liking it. But I don't have that nostalgia because the nostalgia for me is like Pearl Jam, Nirvana, the grunge bands, because it was the bands that I listened to in high school. Plus, when Linkin Park came out, and a lot of people liked it was the best new metal thing. I'm like, Korn, 1994. I don't know. I like Limp Bizkit. I'm like,
move over, old man. This is Linkin Park times.
It was like, yeah, it was like okay, but yeah, I really like the first 2 albums, Minutes to Midnight too. But after that, I kind of fell out of place with the band. Living Things is not my favorite record, but the singles in Living Things hit any of these songs on these albums as just better. And I'm sorry, but Chester Bennington vocals are superior to Emily. I don't think Emily is the weakest thing on this record. But I don't think it's just. I think this is a case like where you shouldn't call the band Linkin Park because, for example, with Alice in Chains, when first of all, when Alice in Chains put out their the album Black Gives Way to Blue, that album is
That's a
amazing.
good album.
It's a
And
great
Jerry
album.
Cantrell wrote a lot of the songs. It wasn't only
And Jerry
Lane.
Cantrell sounds a lot like Lane Staley.
And yeah,
too.
they used to sing in
Well,
dual
his
harmony.
backing
Oh.
vocals, yeah, it's the harmonies that really tied it together. So by him still singing the backups, it brings it back to a familiar place.
And Duvall does capture it a lot as well.
Yeah, but I saw Alice in Chains at like I think it was Hellfest. I don't know, it was one of those European
I
festivals.
saw them in 2016, opening for Guns N' Roses in Seattle at Lumen Field, just before the first time Trump got elected.
Well, see, here's the
Okay,
thing.
we're not talking
Hey!
politics here, man.
Hey, no, but I
No
saw.
politics.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
I didn't know they were playing that festival, and I walked up from behind the stage and I heard it, and I was like, "God damn!" But I couldn't fucking tell that it wasn't the guy. I thought they were playing it over the house speakers or something.
You're saying goddamn?
Oh.
Yeah, it was so good. Like Alice in Chains, is,
goddamn.
yeah, they're great, man. They're fucking
They're
awesome.
fucking great. I
So-
saw them at Download Festival 2018. Same
That
thing.
was that's where it was. That's where it was. Yeah.
I saw them in when
That
I
was it.
lived in Florida. But my point is that you just can't shit on a band just by changing like their singer because another band that did it awesome, AC/DC.
Yeah.
When they
Oh, yeah.
Brian, it made sense. So it's not every case, but in this case, it just doesn't fit. It feels forced. It feels like oh, we're back and we have this singer and here's
because it's a
tour,
renowned band.
and here's an album. Everything is like, please hurry up and buy.
But I kind of, but I feel bad. I mean, I can't agree with the whole change of the name thing, and I'll tell you why. You look at like Van Halen, should they have changed their name? AC/DC, same thing. I mean, those were pretty decent sized
Pantera.
shifts in vocalists. But yeah, Pantera.
No way rules to stage like Diamond Dave.
Yeah. No Terry date. Yeah, but no, here's the whole thing with like the Power Trip thing, okay? Their vocalist dies, they come back.
Yeah.
Everybody's mad at them, but like that band still belongs to those musicians. The other guys in the band who stuck around, mind you, I mean, this wasn't like an involuntary thing, I mean, it's a tragedy nonetheless, but like, let's be honest, like they didn't fucking do this, and that's their livelihood, it's their band, and they have as much skin in the game as he did. I think it's kind of unfair to say that the band died with the guy who took himself out. Like, shitty opinion, I don't care, throw tomatoes, but it's still their band.
That makes sense. And it's just sometimes it doesn't sound like Linkin Park, but it also it makes you know that it was before in Linkin Park than Chester. So it's actually, if you think about it, it's his band. But Mike Shinoda's rapping is awful on this one. And I just seen so many positive reviews, but extra positive, kissing this album's ass. I thought Chili was going to go sideways because of the score he gave it on his. So you surprised me, Chili.
I did. I threw a curveball.
But for me, this feels like it's not the worst album of the year. It may make. I think this is the most overhyped record of the year. It's and the hype is not warranted. This album is not good, people. It's a thumbs down for me. I just think it's a soulless record, and not even the best track here comes close to Hybrid Theory or Meteora. So I'm sorry.
You're making that comparison again. You got to stop making the comparison.
Yeah, people.
I mean, you can't do that because the entire purpose of this album is to be nostalgic.
Yes,
Yes.
But you can't say don't compare it when they just ripped off those albums and gave it back.
Exactly. If they would have done like if the whole album was over each other, then you would say, yeah, it sounds like Miley Cyrus. But when you have tracks,
But that'd be a
like
different
Crown,
joke.
Yeah, Heavy is the Crown sounds like Faint, and and so it's just it's like the Force Awakens again, and I said like no more. You are not going to Linkin Park. You are not going to fool me. I see what you were trying to do. And yes, this is going to be a divisive album. Just look at the panel. The panel was super divisive. So this is going to be a divisive panel.
Just look at the comment section. I can see you guys typing down there.
I see that happening already.
I've seen some reviews, and I'm gonna state by this.
I'm getting
This is
hate
the
bombed in
most
my
true-
channel now.
Yeah, this is the most truthful review from this album, in my opinion, because everyone here spoke the truth. So this is the last Is It That Bad of the year. So
Hell
we're gonna
yeah.
come back
Yep.
next year.
End of the
But
year.
But you know, like for now, I think this was the season ending episode, and a quite good one. So I want to thank my panel for joining me. Justin, obviously his band Workers.
Hey, our
They
last album
crashed.
sucked too. What's up?
Oh,
Up next on Is It That Bad? War Curse.
Workers Confession. Do they think they're Slayer? No, they're not Slayer.
Hey, and we're on
Oh,
our second
man.
vocalist too, you know? Fuck, who cares?
Oh yeah, but yeah. So he also does a podcast too, where he talks to music and tells musicians what not to do. So what's the name of the podcast again, man?
The Heavy Business Podcast. Yeah, we
The
try to
Heavy
teach you how to screw up less, I guess. That's the whole theme of
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Give Linkin Park a call.
That's right.
Yeah.
They can give me a call, man.
They use
Yeah,
my
they can give
podcast
me a
as a
call.
perfect example.
And Rock of All Ages, his channel is like a podcast, and he does like he goes year by year, and he's gonna have a 2008 episode which I'm on it. So
Yes.
subscribe to him.
That will be in a couple of days. Be excited for that.
Yeah, anticipation. And Chili from Live Listening Erased. So you heard it here. We're going to do a video on his channel soon. No, well, you haven't said it, but I'm saying it. We're doing controversial artist number
Where you draw
one.
the line.
Yeah, controversial artist, where you draw the line. Episode 4 or something. I don't know. I've lost track.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is Emily
Emily
going to
Armstrong
be
is going to
on
be
the
on
list?
that one.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
subscribe to
Along
him.
with Tim from As I Lay Dying as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And on that note, this Sunday, I have a review of the new As I Lay Dying album. So that's going to be. And
Assassinated.
Well, I don't have a.
I'm
It's
probably
going to be an
gonna
interesting
review that one
review.
as well if I have time.
If you, we
If I
all
have time, I
have.
might review the new As I Lay Dying album if possible. I heard a couple of singles already with Bourdon that came out this past spring, and I heard We Are the Dead, which has Alex from Slower to Prevail, which I heard Steven Nader criticize Alex Terrible on a video because Alex has a sun tattoo on his elbow and has S's inside it. That is very cringy.
Okay.
Yes.
At least he doesn't say Godsmack. Then,
No, it's a Nazi sun tattoo.
Oh, God,
but
you said the fucking
having the
word.
Godsmack one is just as cringy. So, yeah. So JC Rock and Metal Reviews. At this point in time, JC is like part of my channel because like we've been together
It's like the
going
wallpaper.
steady for the last. JC and me have been dating for the last 2 years. I'm kidding.
Well, someone had to do it.
We've been doing videos for the last. Not 2. I think 2 years or more.
Yes, yeah.
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 And obviously subscribe to his channel. And Matthew Diceable Reviews, buy his shirts. His shirts are
Buy 'em.
fucking awesome.
Guy needs to buy
Buy
some
his
ramen.
shirts, and he's the only YouTuber who does album like song reactions that I actually love because he gives reactions like are great. So Matthew, thank you for taking the time.
Forget the shirts. I want those posters.
He's got some great
You know.
shirts. He's got like diasable apparel, like some great stuff. So buy his shit. And finally, Robert from Trolling in Paradise. Robert, you are an unpredictable human being, my man.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I know.
Like a 12-sided die with three.
I did a review of the new Halsey album called The Great Impersonator and had a bunch of different sounds. One of the songs sounded like Evanescence. That would be Loneliest of Muse. And another song sounded like Fleetwood Mac. That would be the 5th track, Panic Attack.
I think that's the album that Anthony Fantano got some shit because he gave
Yeah,
it
it
like
got
a
1
very
out
bad.
of 10 on there. He despised it. I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah.
But
Good.
but I have a feeling he's going to review this new Linkin Park album. He's probably going to say that it's not good.
Oh, like he gave One More Light?
Yeah.
Probably.
And next week I'll probably do the review of the new Marilyn Manson album. And spoiler alert, it's gonna be a negative review.
Actually, I've enjoyed the free singles. I'm going to review that on my channel too, but I'm doing it with Señorita Sabrosura, and we'll talk about controversies and music. It's going to be an interesting episode, and of course, I'll review the new Opeth album next week. So,
oh yeah,
the new Body Count one too. That drops next week as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I maybe talk about that one too. You know. I don't want to piss off Ice-T. So please, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next year for more episodes of Is It That Bad? So until next time, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a Couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.